All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. Um, this is the Coaches Sanctuary podcast with your host, Eddie Hamilton. Uh, Excited to be here with you another evening, another beautiful Thursday here in the Bossier City, Louisiana area of the country where the weather is going crazy, freezing cold yesterday down in the 30s and today back up in the 80s. And we're excited to be here. That means that my favorite time of the year is here. Basketball season is here, along with being a fan of football, and you have now playoff baseball happening. This is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time of the year. So it's exciting. It's exciting. I'm happy to be here with you again. Another evening to come in and to have opportunity to talk and coaches coming on in, man, having a chance to get a little bit better. I think in this day and time, we're saying get 1% better than we was yesterday, or that we were yesterday. So glad to be here again, the Coaches Sanctuary podcast. Um, I'm your host, Eddie Hamilton. As you can see at the bottom of the screen today, we'll be talking about defining success for your program. Okay. Remember, you can subscribe on YouTube to keep up with clips, to keep up with the episodes that we have. And also, if you're a podcaster while you're driving, you can subscribe on Anchor. All right. So I appreciate those that are supporting and want to say thank you as we continue to grow. We're now on episode 13, week 13, which means officially now we've crossed over now, been going for 3 months. So definitely excited about that. Definitely excited to keep going and hopefully adding value to my fellow coaches and for those who want to come in and pick up on some nuggets to take along with you. So again, we're excited about that. So here we go. Jumping right in, defining success for your program, defining success for your program. So for me, before I go in and tell a little bit of my story, if you looked at the bottom of the screen, it's going across, and for my listeners, the definition of success that struck me coming as I started my coach career in the early 2000s was by the legendary Coach John Wooden. Legendary Coach John Wooden. 11 titles at UCLA, several Hall of Famers that came through his program, and most definitely one of the greatest teachers I've ever seen. Got a chance to read his book, The Pyramid of Success, and his definitions of success stuck with me over time. And so I'm just going to read it here and just share it with you. And we're going to let that set the foundation for where we're going on today. So, man, definitely chime in with your comments. Definitely be able to share and looking forward to this conversation. So here we go. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to become the best you're capable of becoming. That's by Coach John Wooden. Here it is. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to become the best you are capable of becoming. That is powerful in itself. And the reason why it's so powerful is because success is defined by you. So of course I'm talking to coaches here because that's who I am and that's who I deal with. That's who I'm here to help. And it's very, very important. I found myself when I understood this, because I didn't understand this when I was younger. I did not when I first started. And I tried to because, as I'm transparent here, because of my own personal insecurities. There were things within myself that I had insecurities and low self-worth with. So I didn't understand what it meant to be successful, meaning having a peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing that I made the effort to become the best I'm capable of becoming. That's very, very, very important for those of us that are in shoes like mine because we're leaders. So guess what that means then when we're leaders, coaches, when we are leaders, that means we are the best follower. We're the first follower of what we have to have. Like I always say, clear-cut vision, clear-cut mission. Okay. And then we also need to make sure that we have standards that we stand on. Okay. We got to have standards that we stand on. Our three pillars at Allen High School is trust, respect, and unity. That's what we stand on. Everything that we do every single day. The other thing that's a part of my vision that I have is that my goal is not to produce basketball players. Producing basketball players is a result of my goal is making sure that I am bringing up young men who desire to lead a family and be committed to a family, because that's what our world is missing. We live in a fatherless society. And so me, part of the vision that I have, the mission that I have, is that I want guys to lead, and I want to make sure that everything that we're doing on every single day is challenging our young men or our boys to become young men and to want to lead families, to have a wife, to have children, to have a career that you're dedicated to in order to take care of your family. Okay. So for me, like I said, my struggle was within myself, not really understanding who I was, who I was coaching for. At the same time, I was saying the right things, but on the inside, not being clear of the kind of coach that I really wanted to be. So I hope that helps somebody to really check yourself like, man, why are you really doing this? When you say, I want to help kids, you know, then the measures that you go about doing it says a whole lot about your motive and about why you're really doing what you're doing. So again, being successful starts on the inside, understanding that. So the direction that I'm going next is there are four different phases of coaching, and if, of course, this is not an end all be all, but there are four different phases of coaches that I believe when people are watching a coach, and when you are a coach, and when you are trying to develop your system, develop your philosophy and what you believe in, there are things that we have to understand about ourselves and understand what our strengths and weaknesses are. It takes a lot of humility in order to point out your own weaknesses and know what it is that you're not good at, and do everything possible to improve that by getting mentors and by buying videos and going to clinics and camps and different things that can help you better yourself in the areas that you're weak. And the other part is, of course, knowing your strength, sticking with their strength as you add and grow your weaknesses to get better and more well-rounded. But there are four levels of coaching that I believe that when people are trying to define, or you're trying to define as a coach, what you're good at, who you are, and how it drives your coaching style, you have to know and be very, very, very confident. This is what I do well. Okay. While I am still, learning other phases of coaching, this is what I do well. Okay. But I'm not real good at this thing. So what I'm going to start with, this is not in a particular order, but it's definitely something to give you an outline where you can check yourself, so you can know how to what drives you defining what is success for your program. Because people can drive you crazy. All right. Folks can drive you nuts because everybody has an expectation of the same thing. Because ultimately, we want to win at the highest level, correct? We want to win at the highest level. That's number one. We do. But the thing about it is, it's still not most important, but it's very, very, very important. But it's not most important, but it's very important because we are here to win. Let's don't kid ourselves with that, okay? But along with that, we have to have small victories along the way that we're confident in, that we're going in the direction of the vision that we have set for our program, and that we're standing on our standards, okay? The pillars that you have in place, saying that I know that my program is succeeding. Okay. So it's very, very important to do that, because that's where your confidence comes from. That the highs and lows of a season don't drive you crazy. As you can see here, I got a snow beard. All right. I'm there. Now I don't know where it comes from. We make our jokes and everything, but I have dealt with a lot of stress in my life as a coach, as a leader, as a husband, as a father, as a minister of music at my church, as a piano player, different things, being part of FCA, all these different things in my life. There has been levels of stress that I have to overcome. And I will say that after I addressed those things and those low areas of low self-worth and low self-esteem, and being indecisive and all those things, as I address those things through therapy and counseling, and conversations with my wife and with my pastor, over time, I've gotten better and I've gotten more confident at what I do and how I do it. And so for my fellow coaches, that's my goal. I want everybody that's in this position that we hold to gain more confidence, and to be sure of who you are as a person and why you're doing what you're doing and who you're serving. Because even before I serve those children, my career is to serve my family. That's what my career is for. The money that I make at school, in my job, is to make sure that I can take care of my family. So that means that that's most important for me as a coach. But at the same time, underneath that, as I serve God, I serve people. Okay. But at the same time, I don't let my servitude towards people drive me crazy. Okay. And I put myself in position where I make myself more important to people than what I really am. I'm most important to my family. Okay. So defining success for your program, four levels of coaching that there are that I'd like to share with you. And hopefully this helps you to start to better describe yourself, know who you are. Some of us might be one of these things. Some can be a mixture of two. Some can be a mixture of three or a mixture of all four. And hopefully as you evolve as a coach over time, you can evolve at all four. Okay. And it can make you a pretty solid coach. Okay. As you continue to evolve. All right. So after almost 2 decades, here we go. I'm going to start here. Now, this gets a negative connotation, all right, but it is a strength and it is a strong characteristic to have as a coach, and it's being a recruiter. All right, so we'll start off at being a recruiter. All right, now there are different ways to do that. Okay, it can just simply be the presentation of your program, the level of winning that you do. That's a recruiting tool. Okay, then sometimes it can just be people in the community is a recruiting tool. Sometimes the children or the players that play in your program is a recruiting tool. And sometimes, some coaches use their own mouth. Because like I say, you do have a college level, which is where this recruiting should take place. But we do know that there are other levels of recruiting, okay? Going, into your community schools and going and showing and being present. And then, being somewhat of a level of a salesman on getting people to buy into what it is that you believe in and how you want to develop your program. So there are some coaches out there that no matter how it's done, there are different phases at doing it, that they're great recruiters. They know how to get players to come to their programs, to be a part of them. No matter how that's done, that's still considered to be a strength. And like I said, I know it gets a negative connotation. Hey, I've frowned on some levels of it at certain times, but the bottom line is that's a strong characteristic to know that you have enough confidence in what you do, that you're able to sell your program and get people to consistently come into your program and get players to believe in what you're doing coming in. Okay. Another level of coaching is developmental. All right. And for me, this is actually a favorite part of it because I found myself over the course of my career leaning on development more than anything else. And that is having a player that comes into your program that starts at one level, and when they leave you, they've reached levels of success and levels of growth, okay, where you can see, you can measure, and some things are intangible that you can see, whether it's development of attitude, development of work ethic, development of character, okay, along with skill. So coming into your program, no matter what level it is, whether it's the end of the year or it's within 2 or 3 years or full 1 to 4 years, when you're developing, you're able to see a child or see a player where they are, see their skill set, see their weaknesses, see their strengths, look at what do you need to highlight while you are consistently being able to take, what it is they're not good at, develop that in secret, highlight what they do well, but then over time, you see the things that they don't do well start to catch up with the things they do well. Okay. Now, that's a long, drawn out process. That's not easy. It takes a lot of patience and it takes a clear cut way of putting things together and being able to organize and structure a growth plan for your players. And you can do that by evaluating with your eyes and seeing. You can sit down with those players and be honest with them about where they are, okay, and where you see them going if they buy into a process, okay. And so you have some coaches that spend more time. It can be individually or it can be as groups. Me, I'm kind of a group guy. It's just seeing the whole picture of a group of guys and putting it all together, seeing the different roles and the responsibilities that you need with their abilities in order to maximize the group and getting the group to grow over time. Okay. So you have recruiters and you have developmental coaches. All right. Next, you have X and O guys. When you deal with a coach that is superb in X and O's, man, it's the ability to walk into a gym and to go through a practice or go through a game or go through film and see how the skill sets of a group of children or a group of student athletes go together, and you turn around and what you're doing is piecing it together to draw up the right offense, the right plays to get guys in the spots on the floor that they're most special. Okay. And that is not easy. None of these are easy. But I'm telling you, man, being an X and O guy, sometimes you have guys that they can draw up things and get up there and piece those things together. But then the thing about it is sometimes is making sure that you're able to take it and teach what the goal is, the precision, where you are on the floor or on the field, putting it together, setting the right screens at the right place, getting the right angles, and making sure guys are coming off screens and cuts correctly to put your players in the right place in order to make plays. Okay, so that is very, very, very special and gifted talent that every coach does not have. Every coach doesn't have that. Every coach is not able to develop. Every coach is not able to recruit, and every coach is not able to draw up X's and O's. But that does not mean you're not a good coach. You just got to know what you're good at. How many times have y'all seen games, pro games on TV or even college, where you see assistant coaches drawing up plays, all right, in huddles? I can call names of some big time coaches where I've seen them step out of the way and allow their assistants to draw up plays. I've done it. Okay, I've had situations where I've had coaches where, hey, they see something on the floor. I prefer that if we can have foresight and go over it in practice, you can see by scouting the opponent and seeing what it is that they do well or not well and being able to scheme and plan to attack their weaknesses. Okay, I like to get that done ahead of time, you know what I'm saying, so our guys can be confident in the course of the game. But sometimes, man, you have guys that can just figure it out, okay, based on the skill level of the players that they're coaching, okay? And then another one, the last one, number fourth level, we'll go motivational, okay? We talked about that a few weeks with dealing with motivation. I am a person that I believe that motivation is temporary. I don't think that a person externally can say something that causes a person to be permanently motivated. Okay? Okay, what does that mean? Motivation is a moment, it's a feeling, it's a drive at that moment in time where something triggers to pull something out of you at that moment. To sustain that level of momentum takes discipline. So that's the difference between motivation and discipline. Discipline is sustained motivation. Okay? That's having the ability to always do the small little details consistently over time to maintain consistent development and growth. So when I say coaches that are motivators, there are some coaches out there that, man, they can light a fire under anybody. They can find whatever reason they can to get into their players' minds and their hearts at a game or a practice or a training session and cause them to be fired up and ready to run through a brick wall. That's a special gift. And everybody's not able to do it. There have been coaches that we made, I think it was Coach Garrett at the Dallas Cowboys, with the joke that I think Skip Bayless called him Coach Clap. Just stand over there and clap. Don't say much, just gonna clap it out. Some coaches are quiet, some are real laid back and everything, but it doesn't mean they're not bought in. Everybody's just different. And you have some that are rah-rah guys and they can get loud and get in their players' faces and hype them up and all those different things. But the bottom line is being a motivator is a special gift. Being able to find what is driving your players and what can get them motivated to go out against the opponent. And I mean, just tear it up. You hear me? Just tear it up. I mean, just go out there and get after it. Okay. Special, special, special gift. All right. So I'm definitely excited about the show and the direction that we're going in. And right there, hopefully there was something said, to help us understand What it means as a coach is that the reason why I gave you those 4 levels is check yourself, see who are you? What do you do well? What is it that you bring to the table? And you pound that and you do it. And if you're not good at the other things, you find a mentor. You find somebody you look up to, read some books, look at videos. We got all types of websites now and YouTube and clinics and different things that you can go to in order to help you where you're not strong. If you're not an X and O guy, pick up the phone and call one. All right. If you're not a developmental guy, pick up the phone, call one, go do some research. You can even now go visit colleges and go to their practices and check and see what they're doing and build relationships. I know I've done it over the years. I've called Villanova. I've called South Carolina. I've called LSU. I mean, I picked up the phone and had some conversations. I went to coaching clinics early in my career where I would get on the road and I would travel, go to the weekend and catch those coaching clinics, go visit other coaches that I have a relationship with. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just go and mix it up and find out who you are, and you stand on that and find somebody to help you in the areas that you're not strong. So, like I said, we're all in this together. Yes, when we play each other, coach, I'm trying to bash your brains in. All right. But ultimately, this is a fraternity and a sorority. Okay. This is a place where coaches, we definitely have, we're in a special place to touch young people. And the best way to touch young people is to be confident in who you are. And go back and let's look at the definition here of success. It means something. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to become the best you are capable of becoming. I'm in a different place now than I was 7, 8 years ago. Okay. When I started off coaching, man, like I said, I had a heart. I wanted to learn. I went to clinics. I talked to older coaches. I did those things. But at the same time, I had to make sure that I was doing it for the right reasons. Had to have the right mindset, the right heart towards what I was trying to accomplish as a coach. And over time, as I got better as a person, I told you I had a challenge in my family where, man, I could have lost it all. I could have lost it all. But I willingly sat down for 7 months and went to therapy and counseling and got some help with issues internally in order to allow God to help me and to teach me what is a husband and father is supposed to be and a leader. Does it mean I get it right all the time? No, that's not what it means. But ultimately, being able to establish standards for success in a winning culture and what I've been able to do over time was a direct result of what the Spirit of God did inside of me. Okay. And what I was able to learn about myself and understanding that, man, I can't touch every kid, but the ones I can touch, I'm going to touch. Okay. I'm going to be as impactful as I can be. I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm going to serve my student athletes as best as I can. And I want to make sure that they understand that, man, we have goals. We want to win district. We want to win state. But at the same time, me as a coach, I got to know inside of myself when I'm watching my team grow, I got to celebrate it. Every little victory I can to build their confidence. And then you get to a point where you can start overachieving past your talent because your character is so strong and your habits are so strong on a day-to-day basis that there are games that on paper people say you shouldn't win that you will. That's exactly what happened in my career. I don't start off my career going 10-17 up to a point of being able to go 28-6. That was the best record I've ever seen personally. And get to the quarterfinals for 3 straight years in a row. I haven't cracked through and got to state yet because you got to have some special players to get to state. You just do. And when I'm talking about talent. But ultimately, y'all, understand, I want my coaches to experience a peace of mind. A peace of mind. Understanding that your confidence is built in knowing that I'm giving my best effort to be the best that I can be, and I'm giving it to my student athletes on a daily basis. All right. So like I said, man, I appreciate y'all. Much love. Man, I hope the best for you. I know we're winding down. People are starting scrimmages next week. We're about to get rocking and rolling here, and y'all stay tuned. I have some material that's getting ready to come out. I have a couple of ebooks that I'm working on and definitely want to make that available. And if y'all look, y'all, let's go ahead and let me see if I can show y'all this. Let's see, hide that. All right, if y'all see here, I got some merchandise coming soon. All right, y'all look at that right there. All right, so y'all will see me wearing it sometimes. So eventually, I'm going to have a website available You'll see my colors are blue and yellow. This is my wife and I, our wedding colors. That's where they come from. All right. And so these are the colors that we rocking with. I'm gonna have some merchandise available. So if you're interested, feel free to drop a DM if you just want to talk. A little basketball, little X's and O's, just program development, man. Feel free to drop me an inbox on any one of the social media platforms available at Eddie J. Hamilton or the Coaches Sanctuary. So look me up, reach out. I love talking basketball, and even just being able to just be a help in any kind of way that I can. People help me along the way, and I feel like it's the same thing for me to do to help others along the way. So, man, I hope you have great seasons. Y'all be careful, take care of yourselves, love your families, and I love y'all. Until then, take care.